Nakamano, a 30-year-old with a tough life at work, often faces blame. He sleeps at his desk to complete his tasks, and his unhealthy eating, combined with his age, results in frequent backaches. From a different world, a fox goddess sees the sadness Nakamano holds. Wanting to prevent potential harm, she sends a helper to comfort him and lighten his heart. One evening, after a tiring day, Nakamano returns home to find a fox lady in his home. Confused, he tries to get her to leave, but she's special, moving through walls easily, and with her charming expressions, convinces him to join her for dinner. At this meal, we're introduced to Senko, an 800-year-old who serves the gods, essentially making her a magical fox. She shares that she's there to look after him due to a promise made to his ancestors and will stay till her task is done. Curious, Nakamano wants to touch her soft tail. While initially hesitant, she agrees because she had told him he could ask anything. As he gently holds her tail, his sadness seems to fade. Feeling grateful for the pleasant evening, he wants to thank her, but she mentions that his happiness is all the reward she needs. The attention from such a being isn't about cost, but about cherishing the moment. Senko then lets him rest his head on her lap, appreciating his efforts. After today's events, Nakano drifts into sleep and recalls meeting the fox as a child. Waking refreshed, he feels reborn, and she hints it's just the start of his rejuvenating journey. The following morning, thinking the previous night was a dream, his illusion shatters upon seeing Senko. She suggests he rest instead of working, but he insists on his responsibilities. Left by herself, Senko tidies the place, making it cozy for Nakano. She takes care of laundry, bedding, and dinner preparations. When Nakano returns, worn out from a demanding day, she's ready with food and a warm bath. After being yelled at by his boss, he has an earache. Senko offers help, but Nakano only accepts if he can touch her soft ears. As she tenderly cleans his ears, he's so soothed that he falls asleep and dreams of a past encounter with the fox deity. Awakening, he inquires if they'd met before, but she brushes it off, citing her long lifespan. When Nakano tries touching her ears again, he pokes too far, resulting in a loud yelp from Senko. She becomes upset when she tells him it's bedtime, and Nakano admits he only gets 4 hours of sleep. Senko becomes more upset and makes sure he gets a full night's rest. After a bit, Nakano sees Senko sleeping on the hard ground, so he offers her a cushion. But she misunderstands, and they both end up sharing the bed. Noticing Nakano's unease, Senko hugs him close and uses her tail to soothe him, helping him get a good night's sleep. The next day, he feels ready for work. Some days later, they're playing games. Nakano is eager since Senko lost a bet, which means he gets to touch her tail. They're so loud that their neighbor Yasuko comes over, thinking something's wrong. When she sees them together, she wants to call the police, but Senko invites her to lunch, winning her over with kindness. While eating, Yasuko, who writes comics and goes to school, asks about their relationship. Nakano is unsure how to describe it. Senko says she's both his partner and protector. Yasuko just nods and thanks them for the meal, but she's curious about Senko's unique ears and tail. Senko simply says they're a part of her. When Yasuko sees her, she assumes she's dressed up as Yoko, a character from a show Yasuko loves. This misunderstanding works in their favor, and after lunch, Yasuko goes home. Nakano suggests they watch the Yoko show so they understand the reference and keep Senko's true nature a secret. Senko, unfamiliar with anime, agrees. They enjoy the series, especially knowing how much the character looks like Senko. Later, when preparing for dinner, Senko notices they're out of ingredients. Nakano is worried Senko will stand out if she goes out due to her unique features, so he suggests she wears a coat and hat to hide her tail and ears. At the store, Nakano is on edge as Senko almost exposes her special abilities a few times. After some close calls, they return home. Senko decides next time she'll shop on her own. Connor tells her he feels guilty for making her handle everything and vows to help her when he can. Even though she initially hesitates, she finally agrees that if it makes him happy, they can shop together. Connor realizes this is the first time he's enjoyed such activities. Some days later, he comes home exhausted from work and learns he has to work even on his day off. Senko is concerned for him, but he assures her he feels better with her around. Connor sets an alarm for the next day, but Senko suggests a gentler wake-up method. He agrees and falls asleep holding Senko's soft tail. The next morning, Senko is the first to wake. She sees this as a chance to spoil him. After softly persuading him to stay in bed, they cuddle and drift off until the afternoon. After sleeping longer than expected, Nakano is alarmed when he checks the time. Senko reminds him about the morning's events and teases him that if he acted more childlike, she could spoil him more. He's concerned about catching up at work the next day, but Senko assures him she'll wake him up on time. They playfully bicker, but her endearing expressions win him over. They eventually share a meal, and she tells him about her special foxfire, a light she once heavily relied on but uses less now due to modern conveniences. Some days pass, and it's the rainy season. Though Nakano goes to work, Seko stays home trying to figure out how to operate the household gadgets. After fiddling with the gadgets, everything goes wrong for Seko. The vacuum startles her, she misuses the washing machine causing foam everywhere, struggles with the air conditioner, and accidentally blasts the TV volume. This causes a power outage and the room goes dark. When Nakano gets home, the only light is from Seko's small flames. She's embarrassed about the mess, but he reassures her, saying her cheerful presence is what he values most. From another realm, Seko's friends observe her struggles and feel she's not really helping Nakano. Another fox deity named Shiro decides to intervene. Nakano arrives home the next day to find Seko and Shiro dining. Shiro is bolder and promises to give Nakano a unique experience, even letting him pat her head. This makes Nakano happy but makes Seko feel left out. Wanting attention, Seko nudges in and Nakano enjoys the company of two fox deities. Shiro offers to fulfill Nakano's heart's desires, hinting of her powerful abilities. To Nakano's shock, he's overwhelmed with a longing to feel her soft, white tail. The fox deity, in her surprise, phases through a wall into Yasuko's room. Yasuko, thinking she's imagining things from overworking and seeing too many anime characters, is baffled. From afar, Shiro observes Nakano enjoying Seko's tail and decides she won't indulge him like that, finding it quite annoying. Days later, after a long workday, Seko notices a dark aura around Nakano. She suggests a shared bath to help him relax. Though hesitant due to her being female, Seko reassures him she just wants to help him relax. They agree that after she helps him, he'll return the favor. In the bath, Nakano's carelessness with hot water causes Seko's tail to lose its fluffiness. As they playfully splash each other, Seko expresses her concern for his well-being and reminds him that she's always there for him. Seko, in her role as a divine being, pledges to show Nakano some hidden hot springs with a magical view of the spiritual world. Nakano is elated, especially seeing Seko's tail fluffy again. He learns that for these divine foxes, their tails are treasured, hence Seko's meticulous care for it. Later, Shiro visits Nakano while he's taking a break from his busy schedule. Instead of resting, he suggests they play video games. Using him as a cushion, Shiro enjoys the gameplay and lets Nakano pat her head. When dinner's served, she consumes most of it. Nakano doesn't mind comparing the time with them to family moments. They compete in a video game for the last meat piece and Shiro wins. Seko reveals that Shiro's special power allows her to foresee Nakano's game moves. Before leaving, Shiro mentions mistakenly visiting Yasuko's apartment. The next day, as an act of apology, Seko brings over some food to Yasuko. Noticing the clutter in her place, Seko offers to tidy up. Grateful, Yasuko gifts Seko a maid outfit in appreciation. After taking some snaps of Senko from her comic book inspiration, Yasuko vents her jealousy, wishing she had a partner like Nakano. That evening, Nakano returns to find Senko dressed as a maid, which flusters him. She mentions it was Yasuko's idea since she thought guys like maid outfits. In private, Nakano confesses he's more at peace seeing her in her usual attire, much to Senko's delight. Later, Nakano strains his back after lifting some heavy items at work. Seeing him in pain, Senko suggests a unique massage, using her feet. He's hesitant at first, thinking it's odd. She tries using her hands, but lacking force, Nakano hesitantly agrees to the foot massage. Feeling the soothing pressure, he's instantly relaxed and wonders why this massage technique isn't more popular. They laugh when Nakano emits some unexpected noises from relaxation. Wanting to reciprocate, he offers Senko a massage. However, his larger hands make things a bit awkward. Meanwhile, from the spiritual realm, Shiro curiously watches their interactions. She expressed confusion, mentioning parts of the story that remained unclear. A flashback takes us to a time when Nakano's forefather was sharing a meal with Senko. In the present, as Nakano leaves for work, he chats with Yasuko. She mentions that while he seems more lively, he still looks worn out. Later, after working late and missing his train, Nakano has to walk home. Unexpectedly, he runs into Shiro, who offers a quick way home to avoid upsetting Senko. Nakano agrees but must treat Shiro to some treats in return. As they journey on a cloud pathway, Shiro shares more about the past, revealing Senko's connection to one of Nakano's ancestors, whom she owes a great debt. She hints that Senko's affection might be tied to that past relationship. Nakano responds that regardless of the reason, as long as Senko is content, so is he. He believes her genuine smile can't be faked. Relieved by his answer, Shiro admits she might have left him stranded had he responded poorly. Finally reaching home, Nakano is warmly embraced by a worried Senko, and he fills her in on his evening adventures. Though she feels a twinge of jealousy, they both enjoy the meal she promised him earlier. As summer comes around, even with just one day off, things liven up when Shiro invites them to a special beach only gods can access. Yasuko, unexpectedly there and asleep, awakens and it's revealed she and Shiro hang out often, bonding over shows. As Shiro and Yasuko have fun, Senko checks on Nakano, who admits he's unfamiliar with beach activities, yet simply spending time with her makes him content. The two are then called over for a beach volleyball match. While the Demodon Foxes excel at the game, Nakano holds his own, but Yasuko struggles. The game ends prematurely when Senko hurts her back, resulting in a draw. Later, they prep for a meal. The Foxes gather seafood while Nakano goes to find side dishes. He stumbles upon a seemingly deserted shop, but a woman appears, mentioning it's unusual to see visitors around. She gives him a special meal to share with his friends. Even though he hesitates, Nakano gratefully takes it. Back with the group, Senko teases him, suggesting the woman might have seen his wandering spirit. When Shiro and Yasuko return, they only have seaweed, so everyone savors Nakano's gift while enjoying a stunning sunset. As night arrives, they enjoy the small fireworks Yasuko had. Remembering he has work the next day, Nakano feels down. Senko comforts him, reminding him that good moments end, but they'll have many more ahead, especially with her by his side. They plan to go see grand fireworks at the summer festival. In the background, the mysterious woman from the shop, who's also a fox deity, observes them without interfering, then vanishes. When summer ends, Senko, inspired by a TV recipe, wants to make a special dish for Nakano. Unsure about the new recipe, she enlists Yasuko's help. Conveniently, Shiro is present and the trio work together to master the dish. After an afternoon of effort, Senko succeeds in making a tasty dish, appreciating Yasuko's assistance and hoping they can cook together again. Yasuko happily agrees. As night approaches, Nakano returns after his day's work. Nakano is impressed by the meal Senko serves him. He praises her cooking skills and she cheekily mentions that her secret ingredient is love. Some days later, Nakano mentions needing a haircut and Senko volunteers, claiming to be an expert. She tries out playful hairstyles on him, but ultimately trims only a little. The highlight is when she washes his hair, letting him feel her soft tail. He relaxes, feeling as though his worries are washing away. After, she confesses it's her first time giving a haircut. Nakano is initially taken aback by her fib, but softens when she expresses her joy in their time together. Soon, snow starts to fall, and though Nakano has work, the weather disrupts his commute. When he gets a message from his company about work being canceled, Senko excitedly suggests they play in the snow. They find a spot, and Nakano compliments her, making her blush. A snowball fight ensues, and they both end up laughing on the ground from the fun. Returning home, Nakano realizes his hands are chilly. Nakano's hands are cold, so Senko suggests he warm up with a bath. He cheekily asks to use her soft tail to warm up instead. Reluctantly, she agrees but later catches a cold because of it, forbidding him from touching her tail for a while. A few days later, Senko's feeling better, lounging inside a kotatsu. Nakano misses touching her tail, and she eventually lets him. They enjoy a sweet moment until an unfamiliar voice breaks in. Enter Sora, Senko's superior. Nakano recalls seeing her at the beach. She affectionately strokes Nakano, asking if he's being taken care of properly and hinting that she can offer him more than Senko. She's hinting at intimacy, but Nakano, ever the fan of fluff, just wants to bury his face in her many soft tails. Sora is taken aback and then jealous. Senko quickly steps in, saying she's the only tail Nakano needs for joy. Sora points out that despite her allure, Nakano seems drawn to tails, commenting on his unique preferences. Before leaving, Sora softly warns Nakano, hinting at a tough future and expressing her desire not to see Senko hurt. She exits without another word. Later, as Senko gets dinner ready, Nakano playfully comments on her jealousy. Annoyed, she says she was merely concerned for him. To make him pay for his cheekiness, she serves him a plain meal. Meanwhile, in a different realm, Sora converses with Shiro, suggesting challenging times ahead for Nakano. Spring arrives, and while cleaning, Senko discovers an old box. This triggers memories, taking us to a flashback where the fox spirit assisted young Nakano in meeting his grandmother. But above this memory, she senses Nakano might face a demanding day. When he returns, she's prepared a unique dinner, paired with special drinks she crafted. They savor the meal together. After sharing some drinks, Senko notices that despite Nakano's efforts to enjoy, a shadow remains over him. She later learns about his rough day at work, with his boss constantly belittling him, causing self-doubt. As Nakano shares his troubles, apologizing for dampening the mood, Senko reassures him that she's there for support. Touched, he sheds tears and soon falls asleep on her tail, but the looming darkness remains. Meanwhile, in another realm, Shiro expresses to Sora how much she misses Senko, who's been away for a year. Sora gently reminds her that Senko's time in the human realm won't last forever. Back on Earth, Nakano comes home, sharing that he's got a few days off. He suggests a trip to view the cherry blossoms, but come morning he receives concerning news about his dad being in the hospital. Although it doesn't seem critical, he feels the urge to visit. Senko believes that spending time with family might ease his troubles. Before leaving town, Nakano leaves Senko a phone to stay connected. Upon arrival, he learns his dad broke his leg during a tipsy outing with friends. Nakano is relieved to hear about his dad's injury, thinking it could have been worse. Back at home, Yasuko brings back lunchboxes to Senko. After a brief interaction, Senko, holding an umbrella, departs into the rain-soaked streets. Elsewhere, Nakano visits a temple, recalling a childhood memory of getting lost and being aided by a fox-like woman. Recognizing Senko in that memory, he attempts to call her, but she doesn't pick up. His repeated attempts are disrupted when a colleague, Mataka, summons him back to Tokyo for urgent work matters. Upon his return the next day, he discovers an empty home and Senko's phone left behind. Concerned, he asks Yasuko about Senko's whereabouts. Yasuko mentions seeing Senko depart the previous day with a bundle, umbrella, and a somber expression. She also notes Shira hasn't been around lately, trying to soothe Nakano's rising anxiety. Yasuko reassures Nakano, saying both Senko and Shira would probably come back soon, especially with the final episode of their favorite show airing soon. In the celestial realm, Senko visits to feed her fellow divine beings and chat with Sora about Nakano. Sora states that despite her efforts, Nakano's inner darkness remains. She questions Senko's decision to stay by his side, especially when there's been little change in a year. Back on Earth, Nakano, while watching the show's last episode, is reminded of moments with Senko. Overwhelmed, he rushes through the rain to the city's temple, hoping for another chance to see her. In the spirit world, Sora understands Senko's desire to reciprocate the kindness once shown by Nakano's forebear. Yet she warns Senko of the inevitable heart attack due to their different lifespans. Senko acknowledges this but expresses her wish to give it another shot, admitting it's more for her own reasons. The discussion ends there. In the cherry blossom-filled park, Nakano sits, feeling the weight of loss when Senko suddenly appears before him. He asks her about her silence, and she mentions she briefly visited her pals. Relieved, they find a cozy spot amidst the cherry blossoms to enjoy a meal Senko made. She sets up a magical shield, ensuring they aren't disturbed by anyone. During a touching moment, Nakano expresses gratitude for her past help. She cuts him off, saying she's with him by choice. As they relax, with Nakano resting on Senko's lap watching cherry blossoms, he mentions his work the next day. Senko advises him to take life as it comes, but mid-speech, she dozes off due to her drinks. Soon, Yasuko and Shiro join them, and they all watch their beloved show's episode. As the night wraps up, Senko reflects on the evening's joy, and Nakano expresses his wish for more such moments together. The story leaves us with the comforting thought: whenever Nakano comes home, Senko, the divine fox, will be there for